Hey everybody, this is Garth Harris, Head of Product Innovation here at Cake, and today I am joined by Brad Schumard, Director of Product Management. Today we're here to talk about Chrome and some updates that Chrome is releasing in February. At a high level, we'll get through it in just a bit, but if you guys have any questions or feedback after this, please feel free to email me directly. It's garth.harris@getcake.com. Feel free to email me any questions or feedback, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So Brad, at a high level, what we understand is that Chrome is releasing a new version of its browser called Chrome V80 in early February, and the purpose of the release is to give its end users a better browsing experience, a faster browsing experience, and also increased data privacy. Along with that, though, there are some implications specifically for our industry, the affiliate marketing industry, in the way that Chrome is tracking and reporting on cookies, rather. Do you mind just kind of highlighting what those changes are for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've done a lot of research into the issue, and according to the Chrome spec, in version 80, they are targeting domains that have cross-site scripting capabilities. Which effectively means if your conversion pixel does not match the web address that your conversion pixel is placed on, they'll kick into this mode. And in this mode, they will not send cookies unless your cookie has been flagged with same site none and it is secure. Okay? In order for us to drop a secure cookie and for Chrome to send that secure cookie to us, the request also has to be over an HTTPS request.
Got it. Just to kind of play it back for you from our audience's perspective as affiliate marketers, at a high level, that user case is, I am a network, I generate an affiliate tracking link for my affiliate, the user clicks on that tracking link, redirects to the advertiser's landing page, the user converts on the landing page, and upon conversion, the conversion pixel will fire. Now, what Chrome is saying, by default, if that URL within the conversion pixel is different from the URL from the website, the conversion will not be tracked because the URL of the pixel is not the same as the URL of the website. Is that what I'm hearing?
Just a slight correction, just to elaborate. Like, the only reason it doesn't track is because the browser's not sending the cookies.
Okay, got it. Since Chrome is making this big update and they are changing the way that browsers based on the way that their browser is tracking and storing cookies, it seems like that's a big change for our customers. We also want to reassure our customers that Cake has their back and that there are solutions for this particular use case, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, so here at Cake, we've taken all that research we've done and prioritized some enhancements to Cake tracking. So what you'll see if you log into your Cake system and you go to your setup, other lists, you may have a domain section enabled. And if you do, you'll have the option to enable same site. Upon enabling same site, Garth, a few things happen. First, we drop cookies as I described earlier. They're same site none and secure. By the way, they're HTTP only cookies, which is the third part of it. But in addition to that, again, to allow us to drop the secure cookie, we also incorporated an SSL override. Okay. So if you have any unsecure offers, in order for us to drop a cookie, we have to redirect to a secured version of that offer. Okay. We're doing that on clicks and on the conversion pixels. So if you ever have a conversion pixel placed on an unsecured page, we'll receive that unsecured request and redirect to the secured version so that we can read the same site none and secure cookies. And at that point, we are effectively enabled to track because Chrome will send through those cookies to Cake tracking.
Got it. So Cake, in effect, in response to this Chrome update, we built a new feature that allows our clients to play ball with Chrome, essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone's read this spec, you may have seen this language, but in their V80 spec, they refer to it as opting into these changes for Chrome 80. And we're effectively allowing our users to opt in on a per domain basis.
Got it. And these changes are really, what we're talking about here are specifically our clients that are using browser-based pixels. Now, we've already been giving our clients for years best practices about how to track, right? So what are the
Absolutely.
alternative solutions that our clients can use outside of this new feature that's more of an opt-in feature?
That's a great question. So first and foremost, this update directly impacts cookies. Our best practice for years has been server-to-server tracking.
Right.
In server-to-server tracking, you absolutely don't rely on cookies.
Right.
And in that situation, you're passing around unique identifiers. So we acknowledge not everybody can adhere to those constraints. So the next preferred option is what we refer to as session-based tracking, which is kind of a hybrid between client-side tracking and server-side tracking, where you have your conversion tag placed on the client side, but you're using server variables like the cake request ID in order to track the conversion. Lastly, our third preferred option to ensure precision would be this new same site feature. With this Chrome update, it's a clear statement of direction. So we've prioritized it to allow our users this kind of grace period to get off of cookies because it's probably in their best interest. But we realize, again, not everybody has those capabilities.
Right.
So by simply enabling that checkbox, you'll be covered.
Got it. So just to kind of reiterate for everybody out there, we have 3 best practices available to our clients. The first of which would be to use server-to-server tracking, which is cookieless tracking. That's using our postback URL. We've been doing this since the beginning. It doesn't rely on cookies, and it is a very safe and effective way of doing tracking on the internet. In case your advertiser doesn't support postback URLs or server-to-server tracking, we are recommending session-based tracking, which is the use of the cake request ID in, let's say, an iframe pixel. However, we understand that not all advertisers can support this. So we have a third best practice option, which is to enable this same site equals none feature at the domain level, which basically allows our clients to do browser-based tracking inside of Chrome. Is that right?
100%.
All right. So with this new setting, it seems like as a client, I would just enable it across the board. Would that be the recommendation?
Actually, that's not my recommendation. Again, when reading the Chrome spec, they use this very specific language of opting in. And throughout our research into this and our testing on our changes, we've actually found new experimental flags within the Chrome browser, which will suppress same-site none cookies. So as soon as we saw this new Chrome version 80 being imminent, we started scrambling. And long story short, the third best practice is only going to be a best practice until that new experimental feature becomes a default.
Right.
Which is why, it's a best practice to hold you over until that happens. We don't know what Chrome's going to do, and we don't know when that's going to drop, but we do know they've already built a feature. So with this Chrome V80 release, it's a clear statement of direction that you're trying to get rid of cookies. So it's in our client's best interest to get away from cookie tracking as soon as possible.
That makes sense. So instead of just guiding our clients to say, go and turn this feature on by default, what we're really calling our clients to do is monitor their traffic, watch how their advertisers are calling their pixels. If the advertiser is already using a postback URL with a certain domain, that would be a domain that I wouldn't have to necessarily turn that feature on for. However, if I have advertisers that are doing browser-based tracking, it would behoove of us to potentially recommend it to our clients to say, you need to turn the setting on if your advertiser can only support a browser-based pixel in a cookie-based tracking situation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the considerations. To elaborate further, because we don't know when that next feature is going to drop, the design with Cake was to allow our users to choose when to opt in.
Right.
We're not going to force our users to opt in because we don't know when that next iteration is going to hit. Right? So your consideration is a great use case. That's part of the determination. Obviously, though, if you're doing server-to-server tracking, you're never going to enable that feature. Right? So it becomes a exercise of understanding how soon should I enable this. And from my perspective, the sooner you enable it, the better, because we're only going to drop these new cookies after the setting's been enabled and existing users or new users touch us again. Once they touch us, we'll drop that new cookie and they will be enabled to track.
Right.
Right? So the longer you wait to enable it on that domain, the pre-existing users that have already been cookied may not be able to convert.
Right.
Right? So if you have a lot of repeat traffic, the sooner you enable it, the better. Right? But enabling it for all your domains may not make the most sense, because you might want to have a secondary, wave of domains that you can roll out if Chrome launches that next version, and then all of a sudden your same site cookies are no longer being sent.
Right.
Even though Cake did everything they did to adhere to the rules and allow you to opt into these Chrome 80 changes.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
So between server tracking, session tracking, and this new Chrome feature that we built for our customers, it seems like our customers and how they track, they're covered. But it seems like we also have to take some other considerations, right? We have
100%.
Our customers have to take how their advertisers are tracking into consideration, as well as how their affiliates are tracking, right?
Yeah.
Because as the affiliate network model, a lot of our clients are networks, which means they are a link in the chain.
100%.
They have to be considerate of how their advertisers are tracking and their affiliates. So do you mind just elaborating a little bit about what some of those considerations need to be for our clients to make sure that they're ultimately tracking for their campaigns?
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, I just want to revisit what you touched on, the tracking chain. Performance marketing is a relationship industry. We say that all the time here at Cake. But part of it being a relationship industry is that middleman piece. You're the middle link in the chain. So just because Cake has you set up and enabled doesn't necessarily mean it's bulletproof, right? You need to make sure your partners upstream, your advertisers, and your partners downstream, your affiliates, are also playing ball, so to speak. So let's walk through a couple scenarios. Depending on how your pixel's placed, I'm assuming everything's client-side cookie-based HTML pixel tracking. In that situation, if you have a pixel placed with an advertiser and it's just statically placed on their confirmation page, then every time a user reaches that page, we're going to receive the request and Cake will be able to track because we've allowed you to opt in. Now, conversely, if your advertiser has a sophisticated system that's dynamically firing your pixel, well, it's up to the advertiser to play ball with Chrome.
Right.
And if the advertiser's not playing ball with Chrome, they're not able to attribute the difference between Garth and Brad.
Right.
So how are they going to know to fire your pixel?
Right.
Long story short, if our pixel doesn't get fired, we can't track.
Right.
Right? If we don't drop cookies at the time of the click with that setting being enabled, we can't track.
Right.
So you need to understand what's the environment. How is my advertiser set up? How is my pixel placed? In order to understand what the repercussions may be.
Right. And that's just for the advertiser to fire our clients' pixels. But we know that our clients have hundreds or even thousands of affiliates to take into consideration.
That's correct.
And which means that our clients need to be communicating with their affiliates. Hey, affiliates, you need to make sure that if you are placing a browser-based pixel, at the very least, we want to make sure that it's secure and that your tracking system is taking Chrome into consideration as well.
100%. I think the most important part of that update is secure. From the due diligence we've done internally, we see quite a substantial amount of unsecured traffic, which is quite alarming. So if you didn't know, what browsers will allow secure content to leave an unsecured page, which is why Cake's enabled that SSL override. In that situation, your affiliates may not have updated their pixels. And in that situation, we may not fire their pixel because it's unsecured content in a secure iframe.
Right.
And that's probably one of the less obvious things that comes with this change. And that's something I want to stress to our users, that it's in your best interest to secure everything, right? And now you may have unsecured traffic or unsecured pages you're driving traffic to, and that's fine, because there's no harm with driving secure traffic on an unsecure page, but there is harm vice versa. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. Which kind of leads us to like a PSA to the industry in general, that if your advertisers or your affiliates aren't using a tracking platform that's sophisticated enough to take this into consideration or to support server-to-server tracking, please let them know about Cake. We are more than happy to talk to them about our solution, just to make sure that they are tracking both securely and also accurately. Is that fair to say?
100%. Yeah, and again, not to elaborate, but I always like to revisit the conversation between accuracy and precision, right? I may be accurate all of last month, but when Chrome 80 drops, I may no longer be accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So the game of precision is being accurate consistently,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what Cake's looking to offer with this new enhancement.
Got it. Perfect. Well, Brad, thank you so much for all the hard work that you've put in to actually make sure that Cake is ready to go for our clients.
No worries.
And thank you for joining me today on this conversation around Chrome.
No worries.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.